Let's start back at the beginning, shall we?
I know that this road has been...
Los Angeles, 2000.
In Rio de Janeiro, the movie begins 10 years earlier. Hernan Reyes, the crime lord, and his psychotic son Dante are waiting for Dom and his team to attack them. Their heist in Brazil takes place in the streets, and Dante and his father pursue the thieves. By the time they reached the bridge, Dante had been thrown from the structure and into the river while Dom remained behind to assure Reyes' death. Abuelita Toretto has flown in for the occasion, so in the present day in Los Angeles, Dom is teaching little Brian how to drive before taking him back home for a cookout. They rejoin the rest of the family at home, which includes Letty, Mia, Tej, Roman, Ramsey, and Han. After Abuelita gives a speech, everyone eats before talking about a theft that was allegedly ordered by Little Nobody and was set to take place in Rome. Dom explains to Letty later that little Brian claimed to have no fears, but in reality, his greatest fear is losing his family. A battered and bloodied Cypher arrives at the residence shortly after. Little Brian is hidden by Dom and Letty before they face their adversary. They are about to face a greater challenge, according to Cypher, in the person of Dante. He previously entered her facility after killing 2 guards and disclosing that he had abducted the loved ones of Cypher's goons in order to persuade them to change sides so that he could pursue Dom. After stealing her hacking equipment and ordering the remaining goons to continue killing her, he departs. Cypher fought her way out before going down an elevator shaft with one last goon before coming to the Toretto home. Little Nobody receives a call from Dom and Letty and instantly sends out agents to capture Cypher. When they discover that Dante had set up the Rome theft, they take off immediately. Tej, Roman, Ramsey, and Han transport their cargo, which turns out to be a sizable explosive, while on the streets. Then, before attempting to carry the bomb to the Vatican, Dante hacks into their vehicles to cause them to veer into oncoming traffic. While Dante tries to blow them all up, Dom, Letty, and Little Nobody catch up with the rest of the gang and take them underground. While Letty tries to catch up with Dante, the bomb ends up rolling all the way down the hills and streets, only for her to be detained and him to flee. The blast radius that results from the bomb being moved away from the Vatican by Dom using a crane once he catches up to it causes extensive damage. While Dante brags to Dom about tearing up Dom's family, the gang is all labeled as terrorists and goes into hiding. Tess, the daughter of Mr. Nobody, meets with new director Ames at the agency. Ames believes that Nobody was too kind on the Toretto gang because of their history of street racing and large-scale heists. Ames is able to persuade the rest of the agency's board to pursue them while Tess defends them and points out how they have arrested some pretty significant criminals. Roman brings Tej, Ramsey, and Han to London as a result of the media branding the gang as international terrorists. When a team of agency mercenaries barges in, Mia is caring for little Brian. Little Brian hides while Mia tries to repel them, but Jakob, who had been notified by Dom, arrives to help them. He knocks a man to the ground and beats up other bad guys all around. Mia is instructed by Jakob to find a secure location for Brian and the children while he safely returns to Dom with little Brian. Tess locates Dom in Brazil and identifies Dante for him, explaining to Dom why he is pursuing him. Letty has been taken to a top-secret agency base, so he asks for assistance in getting her out as well as in clearing their names. Tess meets with Letty and devises a scheme to get her relocated by making it appear as though Letty is attacking her. Along with a young woman named Isabel that Dom is familiar with, Dom attends a street racing event to meet with Diogo. Along with Diogo and Isabel, Dante arrives and dares Dom to a street race. Dante has planted bombs under their cars so that one of the two would perish during the race, and he forces Dom to make that decision. Dom ultimately attempts to slow Isabel down, forcing Dante to detonate Diogo on the racetrack. Dante then makes an attempt to attack Isabel, but Dom manages to detonate the bomb off her car despite causing her to crash. Dom rescues her from the collision as Dante flees. The other 4 eventually run upon Bowie, an old hacking companion of Ramsey's. When Ramsey finds a file, she discovers that Dante is using her surveillance system God's Eye to spy on Dom's family members. Roman had some money set up, but Dante ultimately drains their bank accounts. After Han's failed attempt to kill Deckard Shaw, the 4 are forced to find him. Deckard Shaw believes that Han is there to fight him, but additional agency goons arrive and break up their battle. After killing them, Shaw learns from Ramsey that one of the prospective targets is his mother Magdalene, Helen Mirren, and he leaves to defend his family. The rest of the group locates a vehicle to take them to safety. Cypher and Letty both awaken at an agency facility. To gas the guards and free them, she hacks the location. Letty starts a fight while they are trying to flee, which results in them punching, kicking, and slamming each other into machinery. Letty tries to escape without Cypher after they come to their senses, but she discovers that the facility is in Antarctica. In order to avoid suspicion, Jakob develops a bond with little Brian and attempts to fit in with him. When they board the aircraft, a flight attendant who is a friend of Jakob informs him that 3 of Dante's henchmen are on board. While he and little Brian board a covert aircraft for Brazil, he knocks them unconscious and orders the woman to hide their remains. Isabel awakens in Elena, who turns out to be Isabel's older sister, and Dom's apartment. She admits to Dom that she never thought Elena was the superior sibling and expresses doubt over who died first. She is reassured by Dom that this is untrue. They locate Dante's property connected to an abandoned police station with Isabel's assistance and discover Elena's old files on him. When Dom visits the station, he discovers a lot of old recordings and movies of him and his family. Before Ames arrives to arrest Dom, Dante phones and taunts Dom about making him suffer before he dies, like his father taught him, while gazing out the window at Isabel. When Dante bombs the convoy taking Dom, he is brought over the same bridge where the heist occurred. Tess and Ames engage Dante and his thugs in combat on the bridge, but Dante has a sniper on them that takes down both of them before aiming it at Isabel, who Dante had abducted. While Dante removes God's eye from Tess, Dom moves Isabel out of the way and informs Dante that he can now locate his son before fleeing. While Dom and Ames search quickly for little Brian, Isabel rescues Tess. The thugs are destroyed by Jacob's cannon-loaded car after Dante hunts him and little Brian down. Little Brian tries to help by climbing out the rear, but Dante takes advantage of this and kidnaps the youngster. Before Dom can approach his brother, Jakob warns him. Before 2 of Dante's sniper choppers blast Dom's automobile with harpoons, he is dropped out of a jet in his car. Dom drives off the bridge, causing them to crash and explode. Then, Jakob sacrifices himself, flips his bomb-filled car onto the approaching bad guys, and exits in a tragic but epic blaze of glory, giving Dom a chance to escape. When Dom arrives at Dante's car, he convinces little Brian to fly out and into it. Then Dante has 2 oil tankers try to collide with Dom and little Brian over a dam, so he does the only sensible thing and drives the vehicle over the dam while the tankers blow each other up, prompting Dom to hit the nitro hard so they can escape the oncoming explosion. As soon as it appears like Dom and little Brian are secure, a missile fired by none other than Ames, who has been collaborating with Dante since the Rio heist, hits a plane transporting the remainder of Dom's gang. Dom observes as his pals tumble into a mountain. Dante claims Dom has experienced his anguish, now he can die. He then rigs the entire dam to blow in a matter of seconds. Dom can only look at his son with fear. When Letty and Cypher leave the building and return to Antarctica, they witness Giselle, who is, somehow, still alive, guiding a massive submarine out of the ice. While Letty watches in disbelief, Cypher seems to have prepared for this the entire time. During the credits, a group of law enforcement officers swarm an abandoned Dante facility. When one of the guys answers a ringing phone and hears Dante's voice, he knows that man is his next target because he was the one who killed his father that tragic day. Of course, Luke Hobbs is the person in question. He only says to Dante, "I ain't hard to find, ya some bitch," before stomping on the phone and destroying it. Dante Reyes, the furious psychopath son of the criminal lord robbed and killed by the Toretto gang in Rio 11 years prior, finds Dom's family ripped apart. By holding their loved ones as hostages, he is able to turn Cypher's soldiers against her, compelling her to repel them and alert Dom. After a fake theft in Rome during which the Vatican is almost destroyed, they are labeled as international terrorists. While the new director Ames is after them all, Tess, the daughter of Mr. Nobody, assists Letty when she is detained. Roman travels to London with Tej, Ramsey, Han, and himself. Dom enlists Jacob's assistance in defending Mia and little Brian before returning the boy to Dom in safety. After Dante nearly kills Elena Nevis during a race, Dom enlists Isabel's assistance to find him. Dom is taken into custody, but Dante stops him on the bridge where the theft took place. Tess and Ames assist, but Dante disables them and takes God's eye from Tess in order to find little Brian. Jakob sacrifices himself to kill Dante's goons and aid Dom when Dante kidnaps the boy. Dom manages to save his son, but Dante and Ames shoot down the aircraft transporting the rest of the group. Little Brian and Dom are trapped in a dam that is set to blow up while they are inside. In the end, Letty and Cypher collaborate and encounter a fully conscious Giselle. Then, when Hobbs is prepared for him, Dante turns his attention to him.
Good morning, sunshine.
You gotta be kidding me.
This is your last ride.